what's your kind of updated thought on Draymond? How much he could take at center, how much you want to play him at center this year?
I mean, I think it's in the past we really wanted to play Draymond at center for 10 or 12 minutes a game, but that was more during our first half of this run, 15 to 19. That was pretty consistent. I generally started somebody else. Obviously, last year we started him at center. I think it's more feasible now, given that the league is playing faster and more three-point shooting, all that. But still, there's part of me that's like 82 games of Draymond playing center, and there are teams trying to play bigger now, and so I don't love the idea of just Draymond being the starting five and playing heavy minutes there game after game.
Do you feel like it's potentially, even with starting lineup, then it might be a game-by-game, matchup thing?
Getting back to that starting lineup.
I mean, you ended the year last year, obviously, with Trayce at the 5, and you talked about how good that was for you guys defensively, and good for Draymond. I know want to be a very good defensive team this year, so I'm not necessarily asking who's starting, but do you feel like Draymond should start it?
Oh, Draymond's going to start. I just don't know if it's at the 4 or the 5, and I probably should have clarified that yesterday. When I said, you asked me about the 2, and I said everything sort of depends on how it all shakes out. Draymond is, he's obviously starting. I just don't know where, 4 or the 5. And we have to figure that out in this camp. Looney has come in lean and playing really well. Trayce has improved. JK had a really good day today. I thought Moses had an excellent practice. And then it's really exciting seeing, Kyle Anderson, DeAnthony, Buddy. These guys are really good veteran players, but right in their primes. So we've got a lot of options for sure. And I'm not playing around and keeping anything from you guys. I am legitimately trying to figure out who our starting group will be.
Looney take a 3.
He finished the scrimmage with a corner 3 and made it, and that was
really.
You're like, yeah.
Okay. I mean, what's your? Obviously, he's trying to add that a little bit.
Yeah.
Are you wanting him to take?
I'm all for it. I want Loon to be. He's not a pick and pop three-point shooter, right? I mean, he's a broken play. He's on the perimeter, shot clock. Going down, he's open, let that thing fly. But that's different from being Kevin Love. So, but he feels it. Loon still has to be who he is, which is a guy who's getting a lot of stuff done in the paint and offensive boards and setting screens. But if he's open, I want standstill shooting. I want him shooting like that. Thanks.
How ready do you think Brandon is for what is probably going to be a higher usage role, higher playmaking duties, all that?
I think he had a pretty big role last year. I'll warn him to be Brandon. You can fall into the trap of so many people saying, "Oh, Klay leaving, you got to be that, you got to do this." No, be you. You're gonna have a much better opportunity to succeed being yourself than trying to fill somebody else's role. And I can speak to that. When I started, the last thing I wanted to do was try to be David Lee, because I knew I couldn't, number one. But number 2, it's not my skill set. That's not how I'm going to best impact the game. And so I'll warn him that if you do great things on the court and there's something great that you do that. Because if you do it great, the team, the offense, the organization will adjust to you. Because it calls for an adjustment. But you go trying to be Klay or trying to be someone that you're not, it doesn't suit you that well. That'll be, that's my message to him. It's just be BP. Everything that you do well, do that to the best of your ability. You get more minutes, you do more of that. So, and you'd be much better off than trying to be Klay. Klay has a very specific skill set that, if I'm honest, there's probably not one other guy in the NBA with that skill set that he has. So, be the best you that you can be. That usually works.
Steve, yesterday.
You know, when you come into camp, when you try to come into camp and show what you added, it's going to be awful. So I think he's doing a great job of just playing within the system, kind of finding the spots. As camp settles down, you know, you settle into camp and, you know, you start to play preseason games, then all of that stuff starts to happen. But you come into training camp trying to show what you worked on, it never goes.
I guess one of the questions, you know, as Steve kind of trying to figure out all these combinations, is like, you know, how much small forward can you play? Like, you know, that kind of bumps you either up or down. How do you view, you know, his ability to play small forward and maybe playing lineup towards him at the 3 with the 4 and stuff?
I think he's a 3. It's always been my opinion. That's going to change. That's not going to change. I feel. You know, to play the 4, it requires a certain skill set. You know, so oftentimes people approach the 4 as if it's not a position. You think like, oh, I can just move a guy there. No, it's a position that you have to know how to play. It's like, you know, you never hear, you don't think anybody can play point guard. The 4 is the same thing, you know? It requires a certain skill set, a certain knowledge, a certain understanding of that position to do that. He's never done it. So, can he adjust and learn that? I don't know. Can a receiver learn how to be a quarterback in 2 years? So, you know, my eyes look through.
Right. So is that type of nuance you think that's lost in all of positionless basketball talk?
100%. And that's why you've seen teams lose to us year after year, because so many teams like, oh man, that guy's Draymond size, or he's bigger. So he can go do that. And no, he can't. And it has nothing to do with how good or not I am. I just know how to play that position. I know how to play the 5. I didn't just end up being able to slide to the 5. Growing up, I played the 5 defensively and I played point guard offensively. So I know how to do that. But if I didn't do that growing up, I wouldn't just know how to do that. So for years, you've seen teams take a guy that's a certain height and be like, all right, we're going to put him at the 5. And then we get layup. And then they'll come down and they're shooting bad jump shots. But I know how to protect the rim. So, yes, I think that is a part of what gets lost. You know, Kevin Durant is 7 feet. He's not a 5. Couldn't play the 5 if you wanted him to, because he don't know how. And that's no shot at Kevin Durant, but he's 5-man size, right? Height, but he's not a 5. And if you try to put him at the 5, he's gonna look at you like he's crazy. You put him at shooting guard before you put him at the 5. Like, his skill set matches that more than it matches the 5. But you know, around this league, it's just here. Like around the league, you see that happen all the time. And I just don't think I think that's why you see those lineups for people fail so often. Because you have to know how to do it. It's not just like, oh, I could just throw somebody there and that's just going to work. It's just not that.
How do you even describe this forward?
It's great. New team, getting together with the guys, talking, enjoying the weather, getting some work in. It's been a fun experience.
How's D'Anthony's defense stood out so far?
Yeah, it's been good. I feel like he can be like twin brothers with Gary. You know, they both kind of look the same and both love defense. And so for me, you know, being able to go against that and, you know, vice versa, me playing defense against them has been great. And I think the better, you know, they are defensively now, the better it makes guys like me and Steph during the regular season.